Welcome back to Bards Geekdom. My name is Chris.
My name is Dustin. We're back!
We are. We're back after a long time away.
We were waiting.
After many things have happened that we weren't here to talk about.
Let's talk about them.
Well, we can't talk about all of them.
We can't talk about all of them.
There's way too much stuff. We're here to talk about the big one.
The big one. What's the big one, Chris?
The Big Kahuna.
The Big Kahuna.
The mother of all movies. The movie that is breaking so many records.
Thor Ragnarok with Jeff
insane.
Goldblum, and it's amazing because he had sex orgies on a spaceship. It's my birthday!
I mean, but who wouldn't?
Right?
Who wouldn't? Especially if you were Jeff Goldblum.
Especially if you're Jeff Goldblum. Like,
Especially.
They said, why don't you just go out onto set and just be Jeff Goldblum? And he's like, I can do this.
I mean, pretty much, and then they just called him the Grandmaster. But, you know, I mean, it was Jeff Goldblum.
It was.
Let's be honest.
Oh, but maybe not so much that movie. What movie are we talking about, Chris?
Black Panther was so good.
Black Panther
I don't even understand. Like, it was amazing.
Records, Wakanda Forever.
Wakanda Forever.
Shuri and Killmonger and White Ape guy.
White. M'Baku.
Thank you.
Man-Ape.
Man-Ape.
But they're not going to call him Man-Ape.
They're not gonna call him Man-Ape. But I do
They'll
like.
call him M'Baku.
I do like how they made all that work.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No, we're here to talk about the movie
movie
that has made over $1 billion
the movie.
in less than 2 weeks.
The movie that if I was still in my childhood would have ruined my childhood. You know what? It did ruin my childhood. My childhood ruined.
It still ruined my childhood.
Yeah.
This movie hasn't even opened in China yet.
China
Probably one of the largest Marvel movie markets there is, and it hasn't even opened there yet.
China's not ready. They're not ready.
Dude, like 2 weeks from now, this movie's gonna cross $2 billion. I almost guarantee it.
Easily.
It's gonna be insane. No, we're here to talk about Marvel's Avengers Infinity War. Yeah, I know. I know you said Infinity War, but it sounded like you said Infinity War, and that made me feel weird.
Infinity War.
That's a very different movie, and probably will be a thing.
Oh.
Brazzers 2018, guys.
2018. Keep a lookout on our YouTube channel, Bards Geekdom, on YouTube. Infinity Whores. I know we haven't updated in a while, but you just keep a lookout for that. It's just me and.
So we're gonna do a real quick, non-spoilery review. I mean, super quick, because I need to talk about spoilers. I have to.
I have to talk about Thanos the Man Titan. I gotta talk about that magic dough. Non-spoiler review. What did you think about it?
Go see it. The end.
That's beautiful. That's what I got too.
That's the non-spoiler review. Just go see the movie. Come back and hang out with us. If you haven't seen the movie, I don't know what you're even doing here right now.
What's wrong with you? Like, we came out of our hibernation just to come back on the microphone and talk about this movie.
That's it.
That's 100%. So it's clear that this was, a long time coming. You can tell they've been working on this from the very beginning. Unlike some franchises have been trying to force together like last-minute team, collaborations. DC, I'm looking at you. Justice League.
Okay, I'm gonna say one thing about DC, and then we're just gonna leave them behind.
All right.
Just like everyone else is already doing. Infinity War made more money than Justice League did in its entire run in theaters in less than a week.
Less than a week.
Less than a week.
Less than a week.
Made more money than Justice League did.
Because that's what happens when you take the time to actually build it and put it together instead of being like, oh, Marvel's getting some really positive feedback on this thing that they've been working on for, 10 years now?
Yes, it's 10 years.
10 fucking years. Let's see if we can do it in a year. 2 years tops.
Yeah, Iron Man 1 came out May 2008.
And somebody in a boardroom was like, that's a great idea. We can do that.
Right.
Let's do that.
Let's do all of these things. So, spoilers from here on out, everybody. This is unadulterated, spoilered, all the things.
The actual reason why we waited a week to do this, so everybody could see it. Spoilers on the internet. As soon as I started seeing those threads hit on Facebook, I was like, the people are ready.
Yes.
The people need to hear.
Yes. That is exactly right. So, what did you think of the movie? Just let's start there, and then we'll talk about individual things throughout.
So the thing that I was surprised most about the movie was the dimension it gave to Thanos. Like, that was my fear, was that it was going to be a movie where they just rushed in with Thanos as the bad guy, that they were hoping from all of the end credit scenes that you would have built some kind of disdain for him, knowledge from him, and they were just going to ride that. But they actually gave his character more depth and dimension than I thought they were going to. And
I mean, this was really his movie.
Yeah, and I feel like that helped tie the movie together, because the movie in itself was great, action was great, comedy was great, the drama, the tears,
The tears.
Mr. Stark, Mr. Daigle.
I hate you so much.
I'm so
Why
sorry.
do you keep doing this to me?
Because it hurts me, and I need you to hurt with me.
I am already hurting so bad. I agree with you 100%. They gave Thanos some great character development. I thought the use of the Black Order probably wasn't as good as it could have been. Ebony Maw was great. But like Proxima Midnight, Corvus Glaive, Black Dwarf, I don't feel like they were used to the best. I mean, they were basically just catalysts to get the Avengers moving is really all it was. But I agree that the action was awesome, the comedy was awesome, it was well-timed. Especially just seeing the interactions between characters we never thought we'd get to see. Doctor Strange and Tony Stark interacting. Doctor Strange and Spider-Man, the Guardians and Iron Man, like Peter Quill and Tony Stark going head-to-head. Everything Thor and the Guardians was just beautiful, like absolutely beautiful.
And I like that they took the chance with this movie to bring in all of the elements of the movie they've put together. So you have the magic from Doctor Strange, you have the cosmic universe that they've established in Guardians and Thor, you have the baseline universe from Avengers and Earth and all of that, and trying to throw all that together in one movie is a lot.
Yeah, the Russos did a really good job.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember reading that the scripts that were written for the characters, they were either written by or had input from the people that had originally written scripts from the prior movies. So, like, Guardians had their writers, Thor from Thor Ragnarok had his writers, and so on.
Yeah, Taika Waititi was on set. James Gunn was on set. I'm pretty sure Jon Favreau was on set. The Russos obviously have had a hand in Civil War and Winter Soldier already. Kevin Feige was on set. Like, everyone was there. But the two main writers, they did a really good job of giving a good script that, like, the movie had no lull in it at all. It was just 2.5 hours of just, I was on the edge of my seat, I had tears in my eyes, I was laughing, my jaw hit the floor multiple times. Like, I literally felt like I was on an emotional roller coaster, and when I left the theater, I felt like I had so much adrenaline going through me that I could become a superhero.
And you were a superhero in that moment.
I was.
No,
I was tears. I was tear man.
No, what I liked most about it was that no character felt like whatever they had written for them, whatever script they were reading off of, was against their character, and that's what I felt make that combination, that collaboration, just so important.
Well, and each individual character's moments felt like their moments as well. Like when Captain America walked out of the shadows, like there was like that undertone of the Captain America theme, and when there were the Guardians there, they came into like a classic 70s or 80s song that was playing on Star-Lord's Zune. So it felt like their individual character moments as well.
So things we liked about the movie: cohesiveness, good moments.
Yeah.
Action.
Yes.
What didn't we like about the movie?
I don't know, man. Like, I thought it was great. I don't even know if there's anything I can pick out that I didn't like about it.
I personally would have liked more of the Black Order, just because I thought that,
Yeah.
Like you said, with Ebony, they did a really good job of bringing him in and like utilizing like the fact that he knew the mystic arts against Doctor Strange, and then you had your other two characters, and they were fodder. Like, they could have developed more maybe in the next movie if there was a part for them to play, but they were gone.
Well, like in the comics, Proxima Midnight and Corvus Glaive, I'm pretty sure they're married.
Yeah.
Corvus Glaive's like actual weapon has like crazy powers that keeps him alive as long as he's wielding the weapon. Then and they didn't touch on like any of that, which I felt was kind of a shame.
Right. I mean, his weapon looked cool, but that was about all it got. With some sweet looks.
I do have one minor downside. So the scene where they went to the forge to make Stormbreaker, I did feel like that took me out of the movie a little bit. I did feel like that was a little bit slower paced. I mean, it was necessary,
right.
but I just kind of feel like it took away a little bit from the movie, and that's like the biggest gripe I have with it, man. Like
I don't know, maybe I'm just masochistic, but I almost would have liked to see a cutscene of like Thanos being there, like forcing them to make the gauntlet, and then killing all of the giant dwarves. The giant dwarves. The giant dwarves.
Yeah, I did feel like that Peter Dinklage cameo was a little too on the nose. I would have really liked if he would have voiced like Corvus Glaive or something like that.
But also it added an element of funny to it, which I appreciated for the tense moment, and the fact that the Forge kind of looked like the rings from the opening of Game of Thrones. just a little much.
A little bit. No, but I mean the Thor interacting with Rocket and Groot through that scene though kept me entertained through it. I do like that Groot found an idol to look up to, and it was Thor.
And it was the pirate angel or whatever.
The pirate angel, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm still not over the ending though.
No. Well, we'll get there. We'll get there slowly. What are your theories about where Hawkeye and Ant-Man were?
So, we've seen some trailers for Ant-Man and the Wasp. And from what we've heard is that movie actually takes place at the same time Infinity War is happening. So what I'm assuming is going to happen, because in the trailer they've talked about Ant-Man and the Wasp going into the quantum realm.
Right.
I'm assuming they're actually in the quantum realm when the finger snap happens.
Yep.
And it protects them, kind of has them in a little bubble because they're actually outside of the universe. So that's my theory on that. My theory about Hawkeye, and I have a feeling that the finger snap killed Hawkeye's family.
That was my thought too, and that's what's going to bring him back for part 2.
That's what's going to bring him back. So that, yeah, but basically both characters were on the run from the government, but because of their families and they have young kids, they couldn't really take it, so they both cut a deal and were on house arrest when all of Infinity War was going down.
And that feels like a little underplayed, but I mean, just the fact that there was just that line to quickly explain them off.
Yeah. Well, and then there's also the line in the after credits scene where Nick Fury says that he was going to activate Barton right before people started melting,
yeah,
fading
away.
Dusting.
All we are is dust in the wind. All we are is dust in the... No, I 100% agree that because I mean he was retired on his farm to begin with. He probably was on his farm now.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that the beginning of Infinity War 2 shows something like that, or even at the end of Ant-Man and Wasp, where like his wife is in the kitchen like doing dishes or something, the kids are running around, and all of a sudden like a plate or something crashes on the ground. He comes running in, and he's just like holding her like while she dusts away. Because I like sad moments.
I know. You've been torturing me all night with them.
Yeah, no, we're not even done yet.
But we do have to say that the second movie, Avengers 5, is not technically Infinity War Part 2.
Right.
They said that it's going to have a completely different name. It's going to tell its own story. I feel like they're trying to throw us off the scent, because I feel like a lot of people are pretty spot on with what I feel is going to happen for the next movie.
Yeah.
But then all the writers and directors and stuff are coming out saying, "Oh no, it's not what you think it is. It's going to be totally different."
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's not going to be that thing that you thought.
I think you're wrong, but thanks for playing.
Yeah.
So,
I love that the Banner actually got some FaceTime in this movie. because Hulk got hit so hard. He just
and I think the reason they did that is because in Thor Ragnarok, Hulk got so much screen time over Banner that I think that they just wanted to have a movie where Mark Ruffalo got to have some fun instead of just Hulk.
Well,
which it was kind of funny seeing him in the Hulkbuster and doing Hulk things while freaking out and pissing his pants, you know.
Right. This thing already kicked the Hulk's ass once, buddy.
It was good. I mean,
well, it even gave Hulk another layer of dimension too, just because now, come next movie, he's gonna have to have some kind of find some way to have a one-on-one with Hulk, because Hulk essentially was established of having like a childlike personality in Thor Ragnarok, and so he basically got his feelings hurt.
Have you seen the Hulk versus animated movie?
Yes.
I really wanted them to do what they did in Hulk versus Thor, where they actually split Bruce and the Hulk. Right. I was really hoping they would have done that at some point in the MCU, but they haven't yet, so I'm kind of sad about that.
That's what I was wondering was going to happen in Thor Ragnarok, because that's what happened in... Yeah.
I was kind of thinking that was going to happen too. I figured that once they got there, that Hela was going to be like, oh, nope, finger snap, split.
And I want that guy, but not that guy.
Mm-hmm.
But this might be their opportunity to do that, because Banner is going to have to talk to Hulk somehow.
Yeah, they're going to have a conversation.
And that we already have the mystical element established now, because Wong's still back at the Sanctum.
We hope.
We hope he's still back at the Sanctum. No, Wong listens to Queen Bee, alright? He listens to Beyonce, he's fine.
I mean, yes, but we didn't see him.
No, but
I mean, it's like Schrodinger's cat. Like, he is dust and not dust at the same time until we know.
He is eternal and not.
He's eternal. I do adore Wong. I seriously think one of my favorite lines in the movie, though, was when Tony turned to Bruce and he was like, "You're embarrassing me in front of the wizards."
Yep.
And then the follow-up to that, when Peter came swinging in asking what was going on, and he said, "These guys came down and they're trying to steal a necklace from the wizard." That whole segment of him just referring to Doctor Strange as the wizard is beautiful.
Well, and it's so very, very beautiful. Just to quickly put it in context for the 16-year-old kid. Kid, wizard, on it, kick, magic kick.
Yeah. Oh man, that was so good. What did you think of the Iron Spider suit?
The Iron Spider suit was pretty dope. I was hoping that's where they were going to go with it, and as soon as I saw those legs come out, I'm also glad that it didn't have just 3 legs. Yeah.
What actually surprised me was that watching the movie, I could see parts of the trailer where they had actually removed the CGI of the legs in the trailer just to keep it a surprise for the movie. Yeah.
Oh, I did a lot. Alright, so those that died.
That was actually... So I was going to ask you about that. What did you think about the people who died versus the people who didn't die? Because some of those, for me, was pretty shocking.
Yeah. But I feel like it's going to be the turnaround, because, one, I don't think they're completely dead.
Agreed.
For a few reasons. The number one top reason being that the Russo brothers themselves have confirmed that Gamora is not completely gone.
She's in the Soul Stone.
She's in the Soul Stone. The comic books have already established that the Soul Stone is its own place, the Soul Place, or Soul Palace, or whatever. And people have been trapped there before, so...
Because that's where Adam Warlock was in the comics.
Exactly. And at one point, I think Peter had even supposedly died, and Lady Death had, took pity on him and brought him back to life. So I feel like all that's going to kind of play around the Soul Stone.
Here's my theory.
Yes.
So, when thinking back on it, all the people that didn't get dusted are the old guard, the original Avengers.
Yes.
The people that did get dusted are all the new ones that we've just brought in. Doctor Strange, Black Panther, Bucky and Falcon. Both of those going surprised me.
Yeah.
So what I think is going to happen is I think that, and this is just completely speculative theory, I think the next Avengers movie, Tony is going to have to put a gauntlet together. And he's going to have to sacrifice someone to get the Soul Stone. And I think it's going to be Cap.
I think Cap will offer himself.
Because even though they're at odds most of the time, I feel like there is an actual like brotherhood bond between the two of them.
Yeah. 100%.
And the fact that you have to give up someone that you love, I feel like that is still relevant for the two of them. And then all of the people that were dusted are technically protected because they'll come back once they fix everything.
Right.
So it kind of puts them in this protected bubble, like, oh, yeah, Black Panther's gone, but we're just really protecting him because we know he's coming back.
Right. I mean, and outside of this, I mean, we know that Spider-Man has another movie coming up. We know Black Panther has another movie coming up. I do feel like we might get to see Shuri Black Panther in Avengers Part 2, which is kind of
That'd be sweet.
That'd be kind of dope.
I was really hoping she'd get more screen time. I was really surprised at how little screen time Wakanda got in general in this movie, considering how much they hyped it up in the trailers.
Right. Considering it was the main scene for the battle.
Yeah, right? So that battle was awesome.
They did great. Chitauri, right?
No, actually, those were, oh my god, they're like the dogs of Thanos. They're like, I think they're called the Outriders, maybe?
That's right. Just like that scene where they come down and they're just sacrificing themselves against the shield and they're exploding and being cut in half. I'm like, Marvel, are you okay?
Did you guys talk to Disney before you released this? Because I don't feel like you did.
I don't know that you did. Have you been?
Did the mouse sign off on this?
Have you been talking to Snyder? You've been talking to Snyder.
Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm so all over the place because the movie was such a roller coaster. I'm like jumping to all these little bits and pieces, and like Cap showing up for the first time, the whole audience like cheered.
Yeah, same.
It was crazy cool, which is great because you would think that people would be tired of the original Avengers at this point because we've had 10 years of them, but people still love Cap, people still love Thor, people still love Iron Man, and I love that we're actually bringing in new characters that people are falling in love with as well. And I mean, Marvel has literally just bulldozed through the last 10 years.
Yeah,
like movie hit after movie hit after movie hit. Like, it almost feels like they can't miss.
No, they had their plan, they took their time with it, and it's paying off. I personally cheered, not so much for Captain America, I cheered for his beard, because that thing was amazing.
Beard was glorious.
That beard could get his own movie.
In the final fight, like the beard and the hair whipping around and stuff, like he just looked majestic.
And I am Steve Rogers. I lost every shit I had. Every last shit.
Bucky picking up Rocket and them spinning around, guns ablazing, and then Rocket looking at him. How much for the gun? The gun's not for sale. How much for the arm? Oh, I'm gonna get that arm.
Just staying on brand.
Perfect.
Right.
Perfect. And Thor with Stormbreaker. I thought after Thor Ragnarok, with how powerful he was, that they were going to kind of make him a side character in this movie, kind of like not really depower him, but make him not as useful.
Right.
Dude was a killing machine.
Oh yeah. Well, and they kind of brought it back to the first Avengers movie, where he had his hammer and he's just wiping out, armies, and that was the Chitauri, right?
In the first Avengers, yeah.
Yeah. So wiping out waves of Chitauri and throwing lightning bolts, like having him come in at that pivotal moment just to kind of bring back that nostalgia feel. I guess it's nostalgia at this point.
Yeah. So the one interesting tidbit that I picked up from the movie was the fact that Loki actually died after the first Thor movie, and he was resurrected by Thanos to go after the Tesseract.
Huh.
Because if you remember at the very beginning, right before he killed him, he said something to the effect of no resurrections this time.
Oh, that's right. He did say that. Huh.
I thought that was very interesting.
Well, and that would also mean that that he was able to hold on to like an astral or spiritual form on his own, because after he got cast out of, what was it, the Bifrost?
Yeah.
Yeah. When he got cast out of that, he was seen back on Earth. His face was still kind of like scarred, but he was like possessing the body of that doctor.
I don't think he was actually possessing at that time. I think he was just
whispering.
Yeah, doing the God of Mischief stuff, being a trickster.
But the fact that he had that presence without a physical form, so that would mean that Thanos was able to pull that and put him in a body.
Yeah.
Or make him be buddier.
It's interesting implications.
Because it also means that he might not be dead now.
It could have just been misplaced phrasing.
I don't know that they would be that careless, though. Everything's had a point.
Everything
has had a point to this point.
So, yeah.
No resurrections this time. I didn't even catch that. I'd heard some theories that he might still be coming back or might be alive in some way, shape, or form, but...
Oh, the only person so far that I think they've said is actually done is Idris Elba playing Heimdall. I think they said that he is for sure dead, not coming back. But other than that, everyone is still on the table to come back. Because, I'm pretty sure James Gunn said that Guardians 3 was going to be Gamora-centric, so, I'm pretty sure even she's coming back somehow.
If she's trapped in the Soul Stone, and he can apparently resurrect people with just their souls.
Yeah, right? Just the next year is going to be full of theories and speculation, and it's going to be super fun. And in between that time, we get Ant-Man and the Wasp, and we get Captain Marvel, which I'm very excited for both of those movies. Because Ant-Man... Yeah. Oh, no, go ahead.
I'll say I'm particularly excited about Captain Marvel because one of the theories that was thrown out after the movie, and of course he had the Captain Marvel pager, was I'm almost wondering if in Doctor Strange's going through his 14 million possibilities, if he also didn't at the same time, time jump, because I think that's something you can do with the Time Stone.
Yeah.
And kind of start setting things up, because he said there was only one way that they win. He also threw out that phrase, we're in the end game now. So I wouldn't put it beyond him to, jump back in time and start putting things into motion, which would lead to their eventual victory.
Yeah, the thing that was interesting, and the thing that I didn't initially pick up on until after the movie, was, besides the fact that Peter Quill just ruins everything, and we should kick him out of the family because he's a terrible person, is the fact that Doctor Strange saved Tony even after he told him that it doesn't matter, he will protect the Time Stone at all costs and sacrifice Tony if he has to. I didn't pick up on at that moment why he was doing that until after.
Yeah.
But I'm betting the only possibility that he saw, Tony had to be alive.
Right. Tony had to be alive, and I'm almost wondering if Tony ends up, like you said, either wielding the Infinity Gauntlet or finding a way to make a replica of one or something to that tune, because
if you remember from the Forge, they had either a mold or another gauntlet there.
Yeah, they had a casting, and then if you also remember in Odin's treasure room, weapon room, there was a casting there too. So clearly, this isn't a new thing. It's something that's been thought of and planned of before.
Well, Hela said that one was fake.
Yes, but the mold had to come from somewhere.
True, but that doesn't mean that it can actually wield the power of the stones.
Yeah, but what it was molded from, or how it was supposed to be made,
yeah,
was into the Forge.
So I have a feeling that if they go that route, that's what they'll have to do, is they'll have to go back to the Forge and get another one made, and Tony will have to assemble the stones. And so it's been interesting, because some of the scenes, or some of the set photos from the next Avengers movie has been basically Tony using his barf machine from Civil War to go back into his memory. Because on set was him, Cap, and Ant-Man, and it was going through the Battle of New York.
Well, that's interesting too, because there's something that has to tie him to the rest of this. Because if you remember, Thanos said something to the tune of, "I am unfortunately cursed with knowledge too, and I know of you, Mr. Stark."
Yeah.
He's connected to this somehow, and I don't know if it was from his journey through the wormhole where he temporarily died and came back. There's something that's causing him to have those nightmares and those visions, and has tied him to this comic side.
Scarlet Witch is what started putting visions in his head really bad.
Right. But it stemmed from something else, though, too. She made.
I think it's just like his PTSD, his wanting to do better. Right. The fact that he wants to, as going back to Age of Ultron, he wanted to create a shield over the world so that way they wouldn't have to worry about anything like the Battle of New York happening again. Right. So he feels this immense pressure, like he's the only person in the world that can do this and actually make it happen. Right. But he keeps hitting roadblocks, and then her messing with his PTSD mind didn't help anything. Because they've not actually linked him to anything like supernatural or cosmic outside of that happening to him. But the fact that they were making so many parallels between Tony and Thanos during that scene is why I feel like he's going to be the one to have to wield the gauntlet.
Well, considering this whole franchise and universe started with Iron Man, like, it's gonna end. Or at least the original Avengers are gonna end on Iron Man. Like it's gonna start and end with him. Yep.
Yeah, I like it. It's good.
Well, because
it's beautiful.
Well, in the comics, there's Iron Man has wielded the Infinity Gauntlet. Gamora has. So has Nebula.
And well, Nebula was actually the one that stopped Thanos with the gauntlet in the comics, I think.
Yep. She took it from him and then basically undid everyone that he killed with the gauntlet.
Yeah. So I feel like that's what Avengers 4 is going to be, even though everyone's like, no, it's going to be totally different.
No, but it's going to be something along those lines.
It's got to be that.
Can we talk about the saddest death now?
Oh my god. Okay.
The saddest death that was improvised.
I know. Oh, right. Tom Holland for the win. Holy crap.
So, from what I remember reading, if I remember this is correct, basically the Russos had told him just his motivation for the scene. Just Peter doesn't want to go.
Mm-hmm.
That was it.
Well, the other thing I read too, because the Russos started in comedy, and what they did on set was basically they did 2 takes from the script, like exactly as the script was. And after that, they just kind of let them do whatever and improvise. Apparently, like 90% of Star-Lord's lines completely improvised.
I believe it. Just because Chris Pratt is so chaotic to begin with.
Right. But yeah, oh my god. So, none of the other deaths really hit me that hard. I expected some of the Asgardians to die at the beginning. I actually had already expected Gamora to have to sacrifice herself or be killed for the Soul Stone. But so of the actual people that get dusted, I didn't really tear up for any of them. Like I started to a little bit for Groot, not because Groot was going, but because of Rocket's reaction to it.
Because it's the second time he's had to see him die.
Right, and he's just heartbroken. You can hear him. He's just like, Groot, no. And oh my god, I'm tearing up again. And then Peter Parker. Oh my god.
Well,
Peter Parker.
And then just to play it off of Spider-Man Homecoming, Tony's explicitly said, "I don't want your death on my hands," as he's holding Peter as he's hurting in the dust. And in Spider-Man Homecoming, like, he goes to open the door for him, and Peter hugs him, and he's like, no, it's not a hug, I'm opening the door for you. There's so many little similarities to now he's falling, like, Peter's falling into his arms, begging for his life. Right. There's nothing Tony can do. And he's just, oh my god. I don't want to go. And then he apologized. I'm sorry. I know. I know. Like somehow him boarding the rocket ship would have saved him, but no. It wouldn't have. And he was boss. He was so boss on Titan, like jumping around, saving people. Magic kit. Magic kit. Oh god. I did love jumping all over the place again in that fight scene on Titan. How Doctor Strange was using his magic to give Star-Lord like places to step, and then he was using the portals and like just the whole thing, and then him doing iconic like arms in that like trank pose, and then splitting off into all of them. It was super cool. Oh my god, I want to watch this movie again. And they pulled out just bringing up the magic level that's in the Marvel universe to that level, and people loved it. Like I know that they were a little worried with worried when they first made Doctor Strange because they weren't sure how the like the powers and the sorcery and all that would translate over into the universe. It's killing and it's hitting on every.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing more Doctor Strange. Even like his little cameo in Thor Ragnarok was fantastic.
Oh,
yeah, I just these scenes were so good in this movie too.
Well, I think the other one that really surprised me and kind of hit was when they were on whatever planet it was to get the Soul Stone, and they're walking.
Vormir.
Yep, and they're walking to the cliff, and the realization from Gamora.
Mm-hmm.
When they're sitting there talking about, and she's laughing her ass off because there's nothing that you love, and like, oh, you must be crying for yourself. And Red Skull, who wasn't voiced by the original actor that played Red Skull, but an intimidationist or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That realization that he like actually truly loved her as a daughter, like that plus that plus the fear plus all of that emotion, like wave of emotion hitting her all at once.
The one thing we haven't talked about is Josh Brolin's performance.
Beautiful.
He killed it.
Beautiful. I can't. I mean, I was on board with the people that were like a little worried when they started messing more and more with the way he looked, like from the end credit scene of the first Avengers to now, and how they made him more plumb looking, and then of course I was afraid that they weren't going to have that depth and dimension added to his character, but. I mean, I could feel it. I could feel it in my soul.
Well, and the mocap was so good too. Like even like the scene we were just talking about where he was crying, like it looked and felt real.
Absolutely. Like it was. Even when he comes back to the planet and his eyes are still watered up, or when Mantis is like trying to hold him in a state or whatever, and he's like crying through his anguish while he's being held down. It was fucking real.
Yeah, it was. Oh man,
it was good. Because I don't think in this universe they're gonna bring in an embodiment of death for him to fall in love with.
I don't think so either.
In my mind, I feel like that's the role that Gamora is filling.
A little bit. I actually, when they were doing Thor Ragnarok, I thought that Hela was gonna be that because of how many times she said she's the goddess of death in that movie. Yeah. I was like, really? Is that where they're going to make her fall in love with Thanos just out of nowhere? But the fact they didn't.
No, the fact that he was doing his whole campaign off of the idea that his whole planet was like ravaged by poverty and overpopulation, and actually gave him a reason to do what he did. Like for a half second, you're like, oh god, bad guy Thanos, good guy.
Yeah.
They're flourishing on your planet, and the children go to bed with full bellies,
full tummies.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh god, good guy Thanos, creating jobs.
I mean, that's the crazy thing about his characters. I mean, he literally feels like he's doing the right thing. Like he's not even like a mustache twirling villain. He's just trying to fix a problem that he feels only he sees.
Well,
and
it's a real problem, and it parallels the real world too. You know, overpopulation. How do you solve? You know, feeding everybody, clothing everybody. You know, poor versus rich, social status, all of that. Like domestic terrorism, all of that kind of. I mean, seriously, all of it got kind of wrapped up in this one character.
Right. The one thing that people have been bringing up though that I never thought about the entire 2.5-hour movie, I did not even question this one bit. If he was so powerful that he could snap his finger and make half of the universe disappear, why didn't he just double the resources?
It's true, but he also said the universe is a finite resource. So even with all the power, because the creation of the universe created the Infinity Stones, so it could stand the reason that the power that created them couldn't be used to make it bigger.
Yeah, that's why we do this.
Yeah,
that's why we talk about this.
That's why we talk it back and forth. Because I thought about that too, and I saw that meme, and I was like, well, actually...
Let me tell you about science.
Let me fucking science you up. Just like how people
get science, bro,
right in the face. Looks like people were like, "Well, why didn't Doctor Strange use a sling ring and just cut off his arm?" Power of the gauntlet. Like, don't overthink it. It's yeah. It can't be simple.
That was one of the other things too, because it was like they just did that to Black Dwarf. Why didn't they? Which apparently they're not calling him that in the movie. I don't remember what they actually called him in the movie, but. Just like the whole M'Baku Man-Ape thing, they changed his name to something else as well.
Yeah.
Cole Obsidian, that's what they called him in the movie, Cole Obsidian. But yeah, they did that, just lopped his arm off. I was like, oh, maybe they're going to do that later in the movie. Oh, no, they're not. Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
How anticlimactic would that have been?
Wasn't actually foreshadowing, so...
Can we talk about the real MVP of the movie? That cape, though?
That cape, though. Oh my god. Right? That cape was the MVP of The Strange, too.
Right? Like he was not going to go quietly into this fucking movie. Wrapped around the arm.
I do... The wrap around the arm was cool. When it ripped, when you actually heard the physical tear, I was like...
I was like, carpet from Aladdin, no.
Carpet from Aladdin, no. That's basically what it is. It's a wearable carpet from Aladdin. That's so good.
Or when it was trying to like save him and just carrying him through the fucking New York City.
That was awesome.
That was amazing.
That's the wizard. Go get him.
Go get him. No, real MVP. That cape, though.
I did think it was funny when the cape smacked Tony when he was leaning on the cauldron of the cosmos.
No, they had just they found all the right elements from the past movies that made him successful, and successfully integrated him into one giant 2.5 hour long movie. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know. This movie was just solid, and like I know a lot of people coming into it was like, "Oh, Marvel just does jokes. They're just too funny." But I feel like they actually found a really good balance in this movie with the action and the humor all felt real. And, you know, in a situation like that, a lot of people's first defense mechanism is humor.
Right.
Especially when they're feeling terrified. That's the only thing that they can do is make light of the situation. So, you know, when Tony was being confronted with, hey, Thanos is coming, the whole world's coming to an end, you know, him just throwing off some quips felt right in those moments.
Because not only like was it right from a human perspective, but for his character as well.
Mm-hmm.
I was reading, and somebody had posted on the face space that this felt like just another cookie cutter Marvel movie, and I agree but disagree. Like, I agree to the sense that they found the things that have worked in the past movies and have definitely integrated them into this movie.
Yeah.
But then they took it a step beyond.
Oh yeah, like this movie was well beyond what I expected it to be.
Like, in the end, like, I 100% expect the good guys to win. I expect them to win with a cost. You know, I don't expect leaving Infinity War Part 2 with Thanos the Titan still having destroyed half the universe. But how we get there is what's going to be amazing.
Yes, it definitely is. And I feel like if this movie made us sad, I feel like the next Avengers is going to make us even more sad.
I'm ready to cry, bro. I'm ready to cry so hard.
Yeah.
Final thoughts.
I'm going to need to... Final thoughts. Solid, like probably top 5 favorite Marvel movies for me. I mean, I still feel like The Winter Soldier is probably still my favorite. I feel like Guardians 1 is probably still edging it out just a little bit. But man, like, it was a great movie. I've never left a theater going, I want to turn around and buy another ticket and go see it again right now.
Right. Like, I laid down in Miranda's arms and I started crying and I said, I don't feel so good. I don't want to go.
I hate you so much.
And then she said, get up. And I looked at her in her eyes and I said, I'm sorry. I am so sorry.
I hate you.
I hate myself.
Oh, why you do this?
I hate myself.
Oh man. This movie was amazing. This was the greatest way to cap 10 years of Marvel movies.
You see,
the Marvel,
you.
The Marvel movie franchise has been a delight for years, and I feel like if they keep doing what they're doing, it's going to be this good for years to come.
Alright, I'm excited to see what their next phase has to offer. I'm excited for the upcoming standalone movies, and yeah. I'm excited for our next podcast. This has been good.
Yeah, 6 months from now.
Maybe a month.
Maybe a month.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. We got to work less jobs and do this more often or something. Let's just quit cold turkey. We're just gonna devote 100%. No, we can't do that. I have
100% of this.
I have mouths
all the way. Same.
All the mouths.
All right, bring it on home.
All right, what do you rank it?
I rank it 3 Infinity Stones. Yeah, 3.
Three out of what?
What is that? 6?
3 out of 6 Infinity Stones is what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Room for improvement.
Because the next one's gotta blow. Like, this one made me so sad. The next
Dude,
one has
this
to
one
blow
blew
my
my
fucking mind.
Are you kidding me? This movie was more than I could have ever expected that we would ever see in a theater.
That's what sucks so bad, because now I want more. And I want next level.
I'm gonna give it...
What's next level?
I'm gonna give it 5 out of 6 Infinity Stones.
5 out of 6? Still room for
5 out of 6.
Like
Would recommend.
Would recommend. 10
yeah, I mean...
10 out of 10 would take this movie out to dinner and call it the next day.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I would. I would indeed. I would take this movie home and show it to my mom.
Right? And say, Mom, I know it's a little controversial, but we're getting hit.
Yeah, I mean, in this movie, we found something special.
We hit it off. much like Thanos hit Iron Man. Right in the face.
Thanos hit everybody in the face. Like...
Right in the face.
Oh, man, dude. Okay, real quick before we go, we have to talk about the one last thing. Cap holding off against Thanos.
Through sheer force of will.
Through the power of America.
Through power of Jesus, America,
America Christ.
America Christ. Nice little nod to the Infinity War comics where all the other Avengers got laid out. He was the last one. Poor, powerless captain against
Steve
Thanos.
Rogers.
Yep.
Oh, man.
And
so
he's never been more Steve Rogers than he was in that moment.
Oh, man. He's pure Steve Rogers.
And then he got smacked down.
Yeah, punched in face.
With the right... Like, I thought that was it. I thought that's where he died.
Right.
I was like, and way to cheapen it just a little bit, but, like, epic hold back. Smack to the face.
So good. Oh, man. I need to see this movie again.
Let's go right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Black Panther releases soon.
No, it's true, we shall go soon.
Blu-ray.
Blu-ray.
Like, a week from now, I think? 2 weeks.
Yeah,
it's coming.
I think it's a week, isn't it?
Well, I think it releases... It may have released digital already. I think it releases next week. We're going to have to go pick that up. Beautiful movie. Dude, Marvel's just knocking it out of the park. Like... And the fact that Black Panther and Infinity War are still both in theaters right now at the same time, like, drive-ins are doing, like, double movie features.
Because they know. They got it.
Because they know.
They saw their opportunity and they took it.
They took it. Alright, let's wrap this up. This is long.
It's beautiful.
You're beautiful.
Much like you're beautiful. Much like the Infinity War movie.
I feel like we just spent an hour gushing about this movie, and that's kind of what we did. Like,
that's what we do.
This isn't even really a review. This is just...
We either gush or we bitch. Like, that's our thing. Yeah.
Go see the movie. Just go see it.
Go see it.
Go see it again, and again,
and again.
And again. Throw all your money at Marvel.
Watch as Pierre fades away in Tony's arms.
I already signed my soul to the mouse. It's fine. It's fine. All good.
It's fine. He knows about me.
Well, until next time, I've been Chris. Stay geeky.
I've been Dustin. It's still going to be beautiful because it's something that we made together like a baby.
Yes, it is something that we made together like Moon Baby.